Hi, welcome back to part 4 of this build. Quite a long build, isn't it, this one? I think it deserves splitting up into many parts. People might not be watching them, but that's the only way I can really do it, because it's such a complex... Well, it's not complex, it's just a time-consuming build, is this one. I've got to the point where I want to paint it before I do anything else, because there's so many covers on this. It's covered in... there's covers all in the engine, it's covered on the intakes, everywhere. It's covered in them. It's covered in covers. And obviously once you fit covers to the model, you can't start painting it as well, so you need to kind of get the basic airframe painted and then start adding things to it, really. So what I'm doing, this tape's only temporary, obviously. The best way to paint it, because wherever there's an opening on this aeroplane, there's a white rim around it, and there's like a white line, which is very difficult to mask, obviously. So the best way to do that is to put the closed cover version on, spray over the top and then take them off again, which is basically what I'm trying to do. I can get most of them on. The front undercarriage, a bit tricky, they don't want to fit. You do get 2 pairs of them in the kit for some reason, I don't know why. And these the gear doors don't want to fit in there without cutting a lip off, which I don't want to do. So I'll have to just mask that conventionally, I think. I might be able to get around it somehow. But all the other ones, including the canopy. I mean, canopies, a lot of people are very, very cautious of canopies. I don't like messing them up, but I could paint that completely and then just strip all the paint off it again. And you get 2 in the kit as well, which is really strange. I don't know why. So at first glance, I mean, there may be a reason for this, but at first glance, they both look the same. So I don't know yet, but I can use that as a mask to paint the rest of it. Now this colour here is the lighter of the greys, and then there's a darker grey around it, so that area is masked actually. And there's loads of lighter grey bits all over the leading edges and various parts of it and stuff like that. But the basic colour needs painting on the model, which I'm going to do next. I'm not just going to try and hope for the best and mask the whole thing and just blather it all over. I shall carefully paint it in sections and make sure I don't get any overspray onto certain areas and stuff like that. I don't mind doing section at a time, and I can go back in and touch it up if I need to as well. So I just want to get a basic basic colour on the model, and then I can move on from that. And it fits so well, you can just add bits to it and you don't have to worry about it not fitting and stuff like that. So I'm confident that everything I fit to the model after I've painted the basic airframe will fit. But, so that's what we're going to do next. I'm just going to get it to the stage now. What I'm doing, I've just put these on to show where they all are, and when I want to paint this area, for instance, I'll just take the tape off it, hold it in place, paint that area, and then do that basically with all of them until it's all covered. I'm not doing any fancy weathering on this at all, because you can do with these aeroplanes. I think they do get quite battered on the tops here. This area can look a bit scabby and stuff like that, but I think I'm going to do the RAF version of it, not the RAF. Well, I think it's navy, isn't it? I'm not sure. Yeah, it'll be a navy one, I think. I might as well. I'm in the UK and it's a UK aircraft as far as I'm concerned now, so I'm going to do the British version. And the colours are all identical for any one that you do. This covering, this grey scheme, seems to be unique to all of them, because I think it's probably part of the stealth covering that's on the aircraft. I don't think you can paint it a colour anyway. So they're all like that. They're all grey, basically. You just put different markings on. That's it, really. So I'll be back when I've got to the point when I've got some paint on it, I think. These are... I don't understand these things at all. These are a Tamiya masking sheet, right? It's basically a masking sheet with some lines drawn on it that you have to cut out yourself. I mean, come on, Tamiya. Do it properly. Cut them out like everybody else does. I'm surprised they don't supply you with a pair of scissors and a blade to cut them out. Anyway, these things need to go on those little bits there. I need to mask those bits off there, and I need to mask off a little bit on there as well. Obviously there's one on this side, and then there's also this arrangement underneath here, but this is a lot more complex. It's got parts in that one. I've got some aftermarket bits for that, so we'll go with that. Anyway, I'll cut my little stickers out and I'll put them on. Okay, not bad actually. I haven't done all of it yet. I've basically done, try and get this in camera, I've done the bottom half at the front here, taking all the masks off now, so it's these worked quite well, just putting covers on everything. It's not easy though, because you've got to hold them in place with your fingers and blah blah blah. The contrast between the two greys is quite subtle actually, when you look at them. I suppose that's how they are. I couldn't do the back because I couldn't hold these covers in place while holding the rest of the model, etc, etc. So what I decided to do was just paint the top of the model and some of the bottom, but mainly the top of it. We'll let that dry and then I'll flip it on its back and then do the bottom separately. Right, getting some pace on with this model now. I've got the basic colour down. This is the colour that Tamiya suggests by mixing two colours together. It's basically dark grey with a bit of brown in it. And I think on face value the colour looks accurate, which is fair enough. However, now what I have done is a bit of aftermarket I've added to it, and this is the unit that goes under here with I think it's some sort of, I don't know, the camera or something in there. And it has an iridescent sort of colour to it, so I've bought these things which are an iridescent. I'm just trying to zoom in a bit. They're like iridescent pieces of plastic that you just glue on, and they came from a company called 3D Line Models, so eBay basically, and they had a bit of difference, and I think they were really interesting. And that bit goes just there and it's painted and stuff. So I'll add that at some point, but yeah, it adds a nice bit of detail. Okay, I'm working my way through adding the decals and stuff. They're quite prominent decals. They're not the best in the world at Tamiya decals. So what I'm doing, I've given it it's just quite a few coats of varnish as this, and I'm just cutting back the varnish just to get some imperfections out and just to flatten it off and trying to get the decals not to show because they are very thick. So that's had a few coats of varnish now, and they've just about gone. I think once it's got a matte coat on there you won't see any of this stuff. But they're a nightmare. The decals aren't fun to use, I've got to say. They fight you a little bit. They're a bit thick and they don't want to conform to things, and they silver quite badly if you're not careful. So be a bit patient with them. And when you do the decals as well, this is the tail, not the fin. There's two decals there creating that. There's that decal there, and then this grey piece here is also a decal. What I recommend if you do this kit, don't bother with the grey one, paint it on, because it's just another thing that's a pain. And, so there's quite a lot of lacquer on this as well, so I can cut these back a bit more. But if you catch them in the light you can see the decal, how thick it is. It's got a ring round it now, so yeah, it's a bit of a challenge getting them to look right, in my opinion. But as I say, once these have been flattened off and then they've got a matte coat on, I think they'll look alright. Depends how picky you are, I suppose. But Tamiya decals are just renowned for this. I mean, they're easy to put on, that's one good thing about them, because they certainly don't fall apart. I think you could wrap Christmas presents up in them, they're that thick. But they're just very difficult to conform to things. But, I'm just going to sand this one back and I'm going to give that a matte coat to see how it looks. Right, we've done this now. It's all the decals are on. Took a lot of doing, a lot of decals on this model. You can't tell they're there now, but they are. Every little grey stripe, or every changing variation in colour, all these little tiny things here, every single one of those is a decal. There's loads, absolutely loads of them. I can't describe them, but there's hundreds of decals on this model. But you don't see much for your efforts, but they are there. I mean, all around that area there's got about 10 decals on it. All that bit around there, not 10, but there's about 6 or 7 of them. Everywhere there's a decal somewhere. So basically I spent days doing that, because I can't do them all at once, because you tend to find you put a decal on and then you pick your model up and then you touch the model at decal and it comes off in your hand. So from experience what I tend to do now is do a bit at a time and leave it to dry and then move on to the next. It has got some little splashes of colour on it from I've gone for the most colourful scheme I could find. Tamiya decals, they're hard work sometimes. They're good in the respect that they're very strong and they're tough, they don't break, but they don't conform to anything very much. This stuff microscale, all that does is laugh at it. They just think it doesn't do anything apart from it makes the decal wrinkle up a little bit, and then it just goes back to as it was before. So I tend to, in fact, not use that stuff because it makes it worse. So they're alright on flat surfaces and things, but if you want to try and get them to conform to anything curvy, forget it, they ain't going to do it. I mean, that bit there is a decal, and that's struggled to conform. I keep pushing it back down again, and it seems to behave, but yeah, I've given it a coat. I did it initially with a matte coat of varnish, and I didn't like it. It looked a bit flat. It's supposed to look flat, of course, but I don't think they're that flat, these models. I think the aircraft are a little bit shiny. They've got a texture to them, or a bit of a sheen to them, if you like. So I went back over that with a coat of semi-gloss, and I think it looks a lot nicer. Yeah, a lot of work in this model. Anyone taking this on, don't take it on lightly, because it's not a quick build at all. The decaling alone has taken me a long time, and I'm now glad that that's done. So the next stage is now is to start adding more detail. I can now get on with the undercarriage, so that can be now flipped down. I can build the rest of the undercarriage, add the weapons, add the engine detail at the back, and all the weapon stores and stuff like that. I've ordered some more of these, the iridescent covers for this this arrangement at the front here. I didn't like them until I painted them, so I took them all off. I'm thinking of putting them back on again, but I'm going to cut them a tiny bit smaller so they fit within the shape better. I'll try them, but I can always take them off again. Other than that, so it's just a case of plodding on now. We're getting the all the other bits fitted. There's lots of covers that need painting, and they've also got decals on themselves. So the grey on the outside and then the white on the inside, so there's lots of that to do again as well. So this model's by no means finished. I mean, it looks quite presentable now, doesn't it? But there's all the cockpit to finish off, the pilot, the screen and everything else, so let's get cracking with all that stuff now. Right, okay, let's get cracking with this. I'm going to get on with the cockpit first. So this is the bit that I built on the previous video, I think. So that just basically sits in there like that. Needs gluing in, of course, but that's the control panel or instrument panel. Then we'll get on with the seat and the pilot. I'm sticking to script, I'm doing the engine. So initially this is the main part of the engine units, these two pieces here, you just glue those together. So that needs doing first. Okay, that's glued together. Now needs painting LP34, which is basically light grey. So this is how it looks like. So there we go, painted. That's basically great. You can't see, I don't think you can see much of this when it's installed, because there's some, these shells basically go on each side of this part here. That bit's inside the fuselage. The only bit you can see is, I don't know if you really look hard, you could see inside there. This part is the back of the engine, of course, and that fits just there. It calls for that to be painted, but I'm not painting that because you really can't see that, so that's going to get glued in there now. And then we'll move on to these parts, which are the parts that form the detailed part of this build here. So this bit needs picking out, but what I'm going to paint them all first. So this needs painting titanium silver, these parts here, which is this one, LP63. So I'll get those painted up, and then they can be put on here, and it'll be easier to hold it than to paint the rest of the detail. Okay, that's the engine pipework painted up in all the appropriate weird colours that it suggests. So the only thing left to do on that one now is to pick out the detail. There's some panel liner. Quite liberal with this. Engines are always, ones that I've seen always look quite, I don't know, metallic-y. So I'll get this finished off and then I'll show you when it's finished. Okay, that's had a very liberal dosing of black Tamiya panel liner. It's going to dry off and it'll dull off a bit, but I'll just keep adding a bit more to it actually. You can't overdo it on these, I don't think. Right, there's some more bits to go on this now. There's some additional parts that need fitting. So I'll let this dry, and then we'll move on to that part. Right, that takes us to that section 105 completed on the engine. Quite happy with that. Looks typically enginey, I would say. So the next stage is to do the actual nozzle, and then fit the nozzle to this part. Then you've got some ancillary parts to fit onto it as well. So we'll do that bit next. So I'll get these bits together next. Okay, I'm just studying how you build this this nozzle arrangement. There are basically two pieces that you need to glue together. That bit fits to there like that, and then that bit fits in there. But they're all different colours, so it basically tells you to paint these and fit these separately, which I don't think is practical really. So basically, that inside face is white, this bit here. But the bottom part of it is a mixed colour. Oh, I don't know what that is yet, I mixed it. So what I'm thinking of doing is gluing all these pieces in here first, painting the inside face of it all white, masking it off, and then painting the inner the appropriate colour, and then the outer that colour. Now the outer pieces are a different colour to the inner pieces, so it's a bit messy, isn't it? It's quite a difficult thing to paint, is this. So I'm going to take a risk and fit those now. And paint that. So it's just easier to paint things when they're all in one place. I'd rather risk that and then mask it, and then just trying to glue things together that are all painted. So I'm going to get all those glued in there first. Okay, that's worked out quite well. Progress so far. Painted inside the edges. Inside there's white, which is really unusual for an engine, but how it is. This outer piece here is a different colour to those bits there, and then you've got these little bits that fit, that go on there like that. It's just the tips that are a different colour, so it's worked out quite well gluing them on first, I think. So I just need to glue all these tips right the way around now, so I'll do that off camera because they're quite tricky to do. I'll show you quickly how I'm doing it. I'm putting a bit of those points there. Bit of sino. And just pop it on. Don't have to be super strong, but they certainly won't fall off. Right, okay, that's done now. This can go onto this part here now. Now there's two little slots. There's one there and one there, and they index into that little slot and that little slot there. It is quite a tight fit. In theory, you could just push fit that on there, but I'm not going to do. I'll use my old faithful. Tiny bit of super glue just there and there. And that's it. That bit's now completed. Quite happy with that. The little contrasting colours is quite nice. So the next bits is to fit all these little, that's it all, there's three pieces. Those three pieces there. There's that piece which goes just there, which is exactly the same colour. So why didn't it show you to put that piece on when you were building this? I don't know. So, I mean, it's painted the same colour as that, which is just titanium. What I am going to do with that, I'll just prepare this. I'm going to put some pencil lead on that just to give it a bit more of a metallic sheen to it. Okay, I'm back in focus. Yeah, a bit of pencil lead on the brush. Just tickling it. In fact, I'm going to do it with my finger, it's better. You can see that on camera. It's just giving it a bit of contrast actually. Got like a dark area, and then so yeah, looks like that. Pretty impressed with that. Quite happy with that. Just chuck a bit on there as well. Been using pencil lead for modelling since Noah was a lad. Probably I used to use it when I used to model with my dad. So there you go, makes it look all metallic-y. So as I said, just get those bits on there now, and that bit's nearly complete. Okay, that's all the bits bolted on now. That's a complete unit. Quite happy with that. Looks quite, looks the part. Very nice piece of engineering from Tamiya. Very well designed indeed. So that can go on the model now. So it's quite an easy thing to fit really. You just put it in there like that. And push. That's it, it's in. I'm not going to glue it in because there's no point. It sits there quite happily, doing its thing. So yeah, that's that bit done. So next we shall work on the canopy. No, not the canopy. Yeah, we'll get the canopy done and the cockpit and get that completed. And I'll call that at the end of the video. So just got the front end to do now. Just got a lot of work, but that's the next bit. Okay, I've painted the seat black and I've given it a coat of gloss varnish. Just, you don't have to normally do gloss varnish for decals, but Tamiya, you need all the help you can get. There's a decal here. You see this decal there, which is this thing here, and that's supposed to fit in that space there and that space there. There's a bridge across it there. Now, if you look at the decal itself, you might not be able to see it on here, but the carrier film is wider than the slot is going in, and I know for a fact if I put that decal on there, it'll just sit there and then just laugh at me, basically. So when you fit this decal, what I'm going to do, I don't know if it will make a difference. Trim the decal so you remove all of the carrier film and cut it in half as well, and you might have a fighting chance of getting it to fit. Yeah, that worked quite nicely, did that. Make sure you cut the carrier film off. Right, that's the seat done. The decals went on alright. There's not a lot of colour on this seat, it's mainly black, but gloss black and then matte black, but I'm not bothered because the pilot's sitting on it. There's a cylinder at the back there, you can just see the side of it when it's in the aeroplane. Other than that you can't really see it right now. There is an ejection pull handle that's supposed to be have black stripes on it and a yellow thing, but I'm not even going to bother trying to paint those. As regards as a kit seat goes, I think it's fantastic. I wouldn't bother buying a resin one if everybody's considering it. I just don't see the point because it's fine as it is. Now this is the pilot. Quite good. That carbon effect top on his head. So if I can get a bit closer. Bear in mind he is very small. It looks bigger on here, but it is little. That's a decal. It went all okay actually. Again, I cut all the carrier film off it. That's very important that you do that, because it would not fit without doing that. And it has like cutouts in it when you put it on, so put that on there and then blather it in decal softer and just leave it alone basically. And it's hanging on for grim death, I think. Just don't touch it and then lacquer over it and it's fine. There's also a decal on the top if you look. It's like it's the same symbol that's under the air intake on the front intake. It looks quite good, quite like it actually. Just painted it the colours that's suggested in the instructions and stuff, and then I gave it a dusting of sand just to bring out some of the detail in the uniform and stuff like that. So I'm quite happy with them. Dusting on that one, I used a bit of snow just to kind of pick out the detail again on the seat. So they can both go in the model now, and I'll do that while the cat's meowing its head off. There we are, that's the seat and the pilot fitted. I've glued the seat in, but I haven't glued the pilot in. It's quite a good tight fit actually. I could say she, because there are lady ones out there that fly these. So yeah, I'm quite happy with that. It's certainly good enough for a canopy closed display. I'm starting to work on the canopy now. This is one of the few kits I've ever built where it's got decals on the inside of the canopy. The last model I've ever done that did that was a 48 scale Mosquito, which I didn't use because it looked rubbish. But this is the decal and it goes on the inside. There's 5 decals there that make up the deck card on the inside. Surprisingly easy to do. I was dreading that, but they go on fine. You just put them on and let them dry and then clean it again on the inside, and voila, one deck card. So this now needs masking on the outside, of course, and then I'll paint the outside of it. Right, canopy masked up. You get masks in the kit. As I said earlier, you have to cut them out yourself, but as much as I've slagged them off a little bit, when you cut them out they do actually fit very, very well, so it's not that big a deal. So I'm going to paint that the appropriate colour. Okay, that's the canopy painted up. Very nice little piece of moulding in that. So we've got the decals on the inside, and you've got just a couple of decals on each side, telling you not to cut through the deck card, I suspect. Painted it the appropriate colour, and then you've got the inner frame, which is this piece here. At the moment this is a bit soft, it needs a polish up, but you don't have to glue it on as such to make it fit anywhere. You can just drop it in place for now. So that bit goes there, and then that bit drops on the top. It fits absolutely perfect, as you would expect from this kit. So yeah, pretty impressed with that. It's a nice thing. Got a lovely, nice orangey brown tint to it as well. It's not clear yet, it needs a polish, as I say, so I had fingerprints all over it and things like that. But yeah, I'm really, really happy with that. And you can see a lot through it as well, so it's well worth detailing the cockpit. So that's that stage done as well now. So the next thing, I'm not going to do any more on this video, so it's going to get too long. As you can see, it still needs a lot of work. This arrangement needs finishing off. It's just a cover. The cover there. There's covers everywhere, isn't there, as I said before. I'm just going to take those off for a minute. So put those to one side. So there's all the detail on this model underneath. It really is. Well, most of the interesting stuff's underneath anyway, I think. So the engine's now done. There's some doors that fit on there that cover that part up when it's in its horizontal position. There's doors here, there's doors on the undercarriage, there's all these doors to fit on here. There's the undercarriage itself to fit, and there's all the weapons to fit on there. So there's still a lot of work to do on this. There's a choice, you can have different weapon arrangements, and I'm going for the one that's got most weapons on it. I may as well, it's called Beast Mode. So I've got all the pylons to fit, there's 2 pylons to fit. And then lots of rockets and stuff, and then we're getting somewhere. So I'm going to end the video there. This is I think it's part 4, isn't it? So the next video will complete the model. I want to get it finished now, but I wanted to get it finished on this one, but it's just, as I say, I can't do it. It's just too long, and there's a lot to this model. I've seen people build these, and they do like a video for 20 minutes, and I don't know how they possibly. People like to watch those sort of videos. I'd like some feedback on this, because I'm finding the sort of video I'm doing for this one, for instance, in multiple parts, views are really down on this one. It might be the time of year, because it is summer. People are out doing other things, but if I do a video where it's a complete build in one video, people tend to watch it a lot more. But it depends on why you're watching it. I suppose if you want to watch it just for a bit of fun and see what it looks like when it's finished, fine. But if you want to learn how, or learn not how to build it, because it's only my way of doing it. I'm not saying it's the correct way of doing it, but if you want to see how it's built and all the intricacies of how it's put together and all sorts of stuff, you can't do that in a 20-minute video. It's just a showboating video. Look at me, I've just done this in 20 minutes, and it's, people like to watch those, that's great, but you're not going to learn anything about this model. Nobody ever shows putting those decals inside that canopy, for instance. And all the hundreds and hundreds of decals that go on this thing. So I don't know, what do people want to see? If you don't want to see multi-part videos, I'll stop doing them, because it's just no point. But yeah, just comment. If you like the video and you put a like on it, please put a comment on the video as well, because it helps the analytics for YouTube. If I see a comment as well, it really helps me out as well. So if you don't like it, say something. If you don't put a down, don't just put a down, thumbs down on it. Say why you don't like it. Again, that helps me out as well. A bit of feedback's always a good thing. So anyway, that's part 4 completed. Got a lot done on that part 4, I've got to say. But yeah, got a lot more to do. So I'll catch you on the next one.